want to share something with you that I recently learned, and this is a book that I came across, and the name of the book is A Story Brand. It's written by Don Miller, and I really want to share this story with you, this book actually, because everything in this book, it relates to life. Whether you are in business, whether you are in a relationship, you have a family, whatever that is, this book actually helps you identify who you are as a person in that story. And I'm going to share those 7 steps with you, so stay tuned for that. Okay, let's dive into it. So, the name of the book, as I said, A Story Brand, and it is written by Don Miller. This book helped me identify who I am as a person when it comes to my brand. As you already know, I'm in the real estate business, but I also create content so that I can deliver to you in everything that I have come across in life that I want to share with you all. But with that being said, let's dive into it. So, in the book, Don Miller talks about a story brand 7 framework. So it's a framework, okay, that he talks about, and he breaks it down on how you need to position yourself through the customer, or if you're a father, if you're a mother, whatever that is. But let's just stick to the business. If you're a customer, if you're a brand and you have a customer that you need to deliver a service to, how you need to position yourself as the person that's going to help the customer. So in every story, there's always a character. Okay, think of it related to a movie, and this is actually the example that he gives. Okay, in every movie, there's always going to be a character. In life, there's always going to be a character. In business, there's always going to be a character. So once you identify who the character is, in this case, the customer, okay, the customer has a problem. All right, they always come to a service because they have a problem. They go to Apple because they have a problem. Not necessarily a problem, but they want to fix something. Apple has something that the customer wants. Android, Microsoft has something that the customer wants. In business, it's no different. If you're in the real estate business and a client comes to you because they want to buy a house, they have a problem, okay? Not necessarily a problem, but it is a problem, okay? So once you identify the client, okay, that is the character, the character is going to come to you with a problem. That problem, it's going to need a guide. That's going to be you. You're the guide. You need to position your brand as a guide. All right? That's one of the key takeaways that I got from that too. Because, and this is very important, once you find the client that is the guide, you identify that client as a character, you position yourself as a guide. No client, no customer, okay, even myself, that character is going to become the hero. The client is going to be the hero. You as a brand are going to be the guide that's going to walk them through. Think of it like this. I'm sure all of you have watched the movie Star Wars. Okay, in Star Wars, you have Luke Skywalker. Okay, everybody knows who Luke Skywalker is. I'm not the biggest fan of Star Wars, but I've seen the movies. I know who Skywalker is. My kids, 4-year-old and a 10-year-old, they know who Luke Skywalker is. Luke Skywalker is the character of the movie. He's the soon to be a hero, but he's not a hero yet until he finds the guy. Okay, in this case, Yoda. Okay, you might think that Yoda is the hero, but he's actually not, because Yoda is the one that's guiding Luke Skywalker through the Force, how to find himself, to find the Force, to be a Jedi. Because Yoda is a Jedi who's training Luke Skywalker to become the hero, because he's obviously on a journey. And here comes Yoda, who becomes the guide. Now imagine Yoda trying to be the hero while Luke Skywalker has a problem and trying to find someone to guide him through, but Yoda wants to become the hero. You don't want to position your brand as a hero, because another customer, they don't want a hero. They don't want to hear it. All right? They don't want to hear it. They want a guide, someone that can identify the problem and is going to guide him through that journey. Once you find that, number 4 in the 7 framework is you give them a plan. The guide's going to give the hero a plan. Okay, look, this is what we're out to do. Now, this is very critical, because when you give out a plan, you need to be very authentic with the things that you're saying, and you really need to come from the heart. That's one of the things that I got to take away from here as well. In the book, okay, Don Miller gives the example of Dave Ramsey. All of you know Dave Ramsey as the guy who gives everyone out of debt. Okay, there's a lot of things that I don't agree with Dave Ramsey, but that's besides the point. The point is that Dave Ramsey has built a brand, Ramsey Solutions. Okay, and he has about 8 million listeners in his radio show a day. He has one of the biggest audiences. You can say whatever you want about Dave Ramsey. Okay, I know that there's a lot of financial experts that don't agree with the strategies, but the point is that Dave Ramsey is not looking for that audience. Dave Ramsey is looking for the audience that is in debt, that they really want to get out of the misery of having to live paycheck to paycheck and not being able to afford things that they want to do in life. Now, maybe they can afford that, but then they spend the money in unnecessary things. This is the consumer debt. This is what Dave Ramsey does. He gets you out of the consumer debt. Now, he does that by positioning his brand, himself, as the guy. He invites people into the radio shows, and he has them, once they're in the radio show, he has them screaming out of his lungs, "I am debt free." Okay? Now, can you imagine if you're a customer, if you have that level of just attention going to you when you come to a radio show, okay? Dave Ramsey Solutions, they immersify themselves as the guy and position the customer as the hero. They don't say, we got so many people out of debt and tell us your story because we helped you get out of debt. No, they go in there and say, hey, tell everybody what you did. Tell everybody that you're debt free. Scream out of your lungs. So Dave Ramsey, in the book, Don Miller gives a great example of how Dave Ramsey has been able to navigate his company, Dave Ramsey Solutions, by giving everyone a plan, okay? Legitimate, just giving them a plan, coming from a place of, I really want to help you, and I know that I can help you. But there's a draw line that you have to draw, that you must understand that you're not the hero. If I'm a brand, if I'm selling you real estate, if I'm selling you insurance, if I'm selling you shoes, if I'm selling you iPhones like Apple does, I'm not the hero. You're the hero. And this is my plan. This is what I have to offer to you. So in the Story 7 framework, the number 4 step is going to be just give them a plan. Number 5, it calls them to action. Now, every human, okay, a human naturally will not take action. Okay, unless we're given a challenge. That is it. That is the truth. I can say this for myself, and I can say this because it has happened to me. But I can also say that because it has been psychologically proven. Tony Robbins always talks about this. Hey, the brain is wired for us to survive. Okay, because it's I don't know how many millions of years, but we are wired to look for what's bad, what's wrong, what's always bad, and so we are wired to just survive. But we're naturally not going to take action unless someone else calls us to action. So now when someone else calls us to action, we get that sense of, I need to step it up. Okay, I need to step it up. Now that you're giving me a plan, I feel more confident. Then I feel the need of me wanting to step it up. Okay, so that's the step 5 of calling the client to action in the story framework. Now remember, this is a story, okay? You're not necessarily telling the client a story, but you treat that journey as if it's a story. Again, think of it like a movie, related to a movie. Luke Skywalker meets Yoda, who guides him. In the movie Toy Story, okay? I know some of you know Toy Story. I'm old enough to remember the first movie, and my kids know this movie, but in the movie Toy Story, Woody is shown as the hero, okay? But here comes along Buzz, who eventually guides him through the journey and helps Woody and Buzz become who they became eventually. But you need to identify it as you're telling a story. You're putting your brand, you're immersifying yourself as a story. Immersifying, this is a word that is commonly used in Disney. It's a great company that immersifies themselves. When you step into Disneyland, you feel like you're in a magic kingdom, okay? The people that work at the park, they make you feel as if you are in a magic kingdom, okay? Okay, the way they talk to you, the way they point out to you. If you notice, they never point out with one finger, they always point out with 2 fingers. I really know the whole story behind it, but I know that with one finger it's kind of disrespectful, so they want to point out with two fingers. But they immersify themselves, okay, as a company that is telling a story, that is a magic place where you can go to. So immersifying yourself, immersifying your brand as if you are a story. Number 6, obviously, you want to help them avoid failure. Okay, what is it that this customer is really looking for, and how am I going to change that position? Think failure like salt. Okay, you don't want to avoid it, but also you don't want to put too much on it, because if you put too much salt in a dish, you're gonna ruin it. If you put too little, you're gonna ruin it. You gotta have a fine line in between in order for you to get that taste, that great taste out of the food. So an example that was given also in the book is the company named Whole Foods. I'm sure that most of you know who Whole Foods is. Whole Foods came up with the concept of eating healthy, and you can walk into any aisle and you're gonna find healthy items. Okay, the price was the price. Eventually, and this is the beauty of innovating. Eventually, here comes Trader Joe's. Okay, offering the same food that was being offered at Whole Foods at a much lower price. Okay, so they positioned themselves as offering that product, that service to the customer by avoiding them failure, by helping the hero, the customer, avoid failure. How? By lowering the prices down. So again, think of it like salt. You don't want to use too much of it. You don't want to use too little bit. You want to use just the fine line in order for you to understand that your brand is there to sincerely help this client out in order for them to achieve what they want to achieve. Then at the end, and it ends in a success, okay? And it's always going to end in a success. In a movie, you know when you walk into a movie, obviously the audience, you have about 15-20 minutes, I think it was said in the book. The writer of the movie, the director of the movie, has about 15 to 20 minutes to capture the attention of the audience, okay? So when they're watching the movie, they know that there's a character that is gonna have a problem, and eventually is gonna meet a guy. But imagine you go into the movie and then you finding the character that eventually it becomes the hero, does everything by themselves, and then whenever it's supposed to be at the end, he ended up achieving that within the first 15-20 minutes. Okay, you'll be bored out of your mind, and you'll be saying, you know what, this was a crappy movie. I'm not gonna recommend it. I'm not gonna watch it. So, but the way that the directors set out the movie is with the character, okay, who's gonna eventually become the hero. And then you have the problem that eventually is going to lead you to the guide. The guide's going to give you a plan. He's going to call you to action that eventually is going to help you avoid success by giving you the result that you ultimately are looking for. So these are the 7-step framework that I wanted to share with you all that I got from the book. But again, just related to a movie. Related to a movie. When you go see a movie, now this might ruin your movie for the rest of your life, because next time you're watching a movie, pay attention to who's going to be the hero. You're going to identify right away who's going to be the hero. And by that, you're going to identify, oh, this person is going to be the guy. Oh, okay, got it. Here's the problem. Okay, so then the movie's going to start, laying off on its own. This is not the first time that I read this book. I attended a course with Tony Robbins in the past where Don Miller actually was in it. This is a couple years ago, and he shared the same steps, and he talked about that. He talked about the movie. So now every time I'm watching a movie, I'm always looking out for those. But it's interesting how the brain starts to work once you know how a movie or a story in this matter is actually laid out. But imagine doing that for yourself as a brand. Okay, imagine that. Imagine, you putting your position as a brand. What is it that my customer ultimately is looking for? You're going to be able to identify what the problem is and how to guide them through. Always remembering that the customer is going to be the hero. Okay, a customer does not need another hero. He or she does not want another hero. They don't want it. If you position yourself as a hero and they're trying to be the hero, I mean, you can only imagine how that's going to clash with each other. But position yourself as a guide. Position yourself as a guide, someone who's going to guide this individual into achieving how is it that ultimately I'm going to change their life. again, that is a question that is very important, and it's actually hitting me right now as I'm sharing this with you. But if I have a brand, how am I going to position myself? How is it that my brand is actually going to help this individual to achieve what they ultimately want in order for them to have the life that they want? You understand? So once you identify, once you position that brand that you carry as a storyteller, as someone that's coming to the rescue to help out this family, that's something that I'm putting into practice. Currently, I haven't mastered it, but that is something that I'm aware now, just like the example movie that I was giving you. You know, I can identify already, okay, this is the person. I guarantee you that this person is going to die within the first 30 minutes of the movie. This person's probably going to survive. And then there's this type of movies where you're like, who's going to survive? Who's going to be the hero? But you eventually start to identify who it is the hero. So identify your brand as the guy that's going to guide the clients to achieve what they ultimately want. Remember that us as humans, we don't naturally take action unless someone challenges you. Okay, so when you're selling a product, okay, the question becomes, obviously there is a fine tune in the book where they talk about how you diligently ask for the sale to the client. Okay, so there is a part in the book that I'm not really gonna get into, but read the book because you're gonna find it very interesting. You have to commit to a client's life. As a brand, you have to commit to a client's life. And understand that, for me at least, I started to understand that it's no longer about me, it's about the client, okay? I'm no longer looking for the sale. If I make the sale, great. If I don't make the sale, okay, great. How can I help you? How can I help you change your life? If we're gonna work together, and if we're working together, I'm working with a couple clients actually who are in the senior stage. And I started to identify that I came to realize that I had a role to play in their lives for the rest of their lives. Okay, and it's not because I'm like, oh, I want to be. This is before I even got into this book, by the way. I started to identify this type of situations, and now that I read the book, it makes more sense that it's no longer about the sale. Yes, the sale, the market. You're gonna position your brand as a valuable share, has a valuable market in the marketplace that's going to pay off. It's going to pay you off depending on the type of value that you bring to this client, to this hero. Okay, so we're naturally not going to take action unless someone challenges us. Position your brand as a guide. That is my ultimate takeaway that I got from the book. So I wanted to share this with you because, again, you may work for somebody else. You may be on a working for somebody that you go clock in and what have you, but I guarantee you have a family. You may have a brother, you may have a father, you may have a mother, you may have kids, you may have a wife, you may have a husband, you may have a grandpa, whatever that is. Okay, whatever that is, there's a role that you play in life, and you must identify what that role is for yourself in life. I promise you that once you identify what that role is as yourself in this life, okay, things are gonna start, it's like an onion. It's gonna start peeling off, and it's gonna start shaping up on its own. So that is my message. Again, if you're a business, same thing. Don't always go for the sale. Don't always go. It's not always about the sale. It's about the impact that I can have in this individual, with the hopes that I can change the life. I may say something that's gonna change that person's ability to think, to take action. Maybe not that person, maybe the next individual. She's gonna share something. So this is what life is about. This is what life is about. It's about sharing the knowledge that we have, and this is what I want to give you. I want to share with you a little bit of takeaways that I got from the book Story Brand. Now, with that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please feel free to do so. All of our contact, social media is going to be down below. The name of our channel is Through Failure is Success, and we come to you once a week with the hopes that I can find that audience that is waiting for that message that I have to deliver, okay? Because that is my purpose, to share everything that I have learned in life, okay? All the failures that I have had, okay? It doesn't make me better than you. It just makes me someone that has been through that, with the hopes that I can help you become the bridge so you can get to where you want to be faster. With that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so. Go ahead and like the video, share it with anybody that you think might find it valuable. With that being said, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.